What I'm going to be teaching you today is how you can defend against this. When I played with my first 5-0 group, the main thing that I noticed was their enhanced ability to stay in points. And even if they were just on a dead scramble and I was hitting overheads at them, they could easily get back into the point consistently over and over and over again. Now, specifically, there are 3 things that I'm going to be going over with you today to help you do the same thing. So step number 1 for defending against overheads is keeping a low center of gravity. We want to get low with the court. A lot of the time you'll see with amateur players is they'll be standing straight up and down and trying to get back into the point. And it really makes no sense, because if you're standing straight up and down, your paddle's going to be up higher than it should be. If I get a low center of gravity, my paddle's now going to be low to where the ball is going to end up. So I want you to picture with me for a moment. You're hitting overheads at me. In order for you to hit the overhead in, you're going to have to hit down on the ball. The ball is going to have to obviously land in the court. So me as the defender, the scrambler, I know that you have to hit down on the ball. So the ball is going to have to land in the court. So now that I know that, I'm getting low and I'm getting my paddle low. If I wasn't to get low and I was to stay straight up and down as I scramble for the ball, I'm not defending what I need to defend, because if you end up hitting it to where my paddle's at when I'm standing straight up and down, that ball's gonna go out and hit the fence, or just hit the green outside of the court. Whereas if I'm low and I have a low center of gravity, this is gonna make more sense, because this is where you're trying to get your ball to. You're trying to get it at my feet area, which is the optimal place to go. If I'm further back and I'm behind the baseline and really scrambling, I'm still gonna be low, because you have to hit the court in front of me. So if you end up hitting here, it would make no sense for me to be up here. So step number 1 is keep a low center of gravity, because that's going to allow your paddle to be low so that you can defend these shots. The second step to defending against overheads is, now that we're low, we want to back pedal instead of turning around and running. You'll see this very often where people will be like, oh crap, I popped up the ball, and they'll start running backwards, and then they turn around and it's all too late. First I'm getting low, and then I'm going to back pedal low so that I can get as far back as possible to create as much distance between me and my opponents. Now the main thing with this is, as soon as my opponents begin their motion forward to hit their shot, meaning they're here and they begin their motion forward, I need to stop wherever I'm at. Biggest problem is that people will just continue back, and now they're trying to get to wherever the ball is without that initial stop. But if you backpedal and now they begin their motion forward and split, you're gonna have a whole lot better chance of getting to that ball. Because as soon as you stop your momentum, you're gonna be able to shoot to either side a whole lot quicker. So this is something with footwork that you need to practice. You pop up that ball, we're back. They begin their motion forward, I'm low, and I'm trying to dig these balls out of the ground. Now that begs the question, where should I move back towards? Should I just go directly back into the court? Should I go slightly to the side? And what it comes down to is the trajectory of the ball. So if the ball that you hit is, in this instance, to the left side of the court, so it's heading over this way, you hit that pop-up. Since you're close to the net, you want to take a step backwards and hover over the middle, okay, for that initial shot. Now let's say this next shot you get to and you pop that ball up again and it's back over to that left side. Now, since it's over to that left side, and this is the hardest part to grasp, is now that I'm deeper in the court and I've backpedaled, I now have to cover this angle, because this is the greatest angle that they can hit. My partner needs to cover anything that's in the middle now, which is the absolute opposite of what it would be at the net. So my partner's gonna come over and cover the middle. They've backpedaled. Since I hit that first shot, they should already be way back here. And they've backpedaled, and now they're covering middle and line. So they wanna leave a good distance in between them so that they can still cover over here, so that I can get this huge angle. Because the player that's hitting this shot has the opportunity to hit a huge angle way over there. So I need to make sure that I'm covering that. So my first initial back pedal, if I'm already up on the non-volley zone line, I'm gonna be covering the middle. Okay, so I'm covering the middle, I popped up the ball. They'll shoot up here. Then that next one, I'm gonna back pedal in a diagonal over towards the corner of the court. I'm cutting off their angle. My partner is then compensating, and he or she is covering the middle. So like I said, this is the hardest part to grasp, because it's opposite of when you're up at the net. At the net, I want to cover middle if I hit it over here. But as soon as I get to mid-court, I now need to cover this angle when I'm over here. This, out of all the things that we go over today, is probably the most important and the absolute biggest reason that these 5-0s have the ability, enhanced ability, to be able to defend against overheads and consistently push back up into the kitchen and transition in and start the point all over again. The third tip is all about where you want to be placing your defensive shots if you have the opportunity. Obviously, number one is get it back into the court. But number two is, if you have time to place the shot, you want to get it deep and up the middle. And you want your ball to actually land right around here if it were to land. The reason for this is because from this position, if I'm hitting an overhead or even a swinging volley, my ability to hit angles from this position is very low. I don't have a great angle out wide because the net's in the way. So if I try to hit that angle out wide, chances are, right there I hit the net and then it went way out wide. Chances are I'm gonna hit the net. Really the only angle that I can see over the net is the back corners of the court. So this will allow you guys to easily get back into the point just by simply lobbing deep and up the middle. A lot of people might think that it would be smart to lob deep and out wide, but all that this is doing is it's allowing me to see a bit more court on the right side. And if I'm on the left side, it's allowing me to see a bit more court over there, so I have a greater angle to hit to. And then it also opens up that line. So this person's gonna be having to cover line as they're defending, and then that person's gonna have to be covering middle, and I have that easy out wide angle. That angle opens up for me. So the main thing is that you wanna hit it not just up the middle, because up the middle and short, I still have pretty good angles. Up the middle and deep, you guys are automatically back into the point. This is the main thing that you'll see these advanced players do, is they'll just throw these lobs up until they get one that lands around here, or would land before their opponents take it out of the air, around right here. Then they begin their transition back forward and they're back into the point. So now for a quick recap on both sides of the court so that you guys can know what to do on the left side and what to do on the right side. On the left side, if I pop up the ball and I'm hitting it to the other left side of the court, I pop up the ball, I need to cover the middle while at the same time taking a big, huge step backwards. Now I'm covering the middle on that first shot. My second shot, if it goes to that left side, if it's not up the middle and I can't get it perfect, I'm now going to the corner of the court. My partner's pulling over, they're covering the middle. I'm covering this angle over here. And then he's kind of leaving a little bit of the line open because that's gonna be the hardest shot for that opponent to go to. If they end up going to it, he will still have time, or she will still have time to get to it. Second thing is we need to make sure that we are low. We have a low center of gravity because they have to hit down. So make sure that your paddle is low and it's ready to defend. Third thing is we need to make sure that we're backpedaling. And then as best as we can, we want to hit that ball up the middle and deep. If we can get it up the middle and deep, we're gonna be able to transition back into the point over and over and over again. It's the exact opposite on the right side of the court. I pop my first ball up towards the right side. I'm covering, I take a big step back, and then I'm covering the middle with my first one. Now that I'm further back, I'm covering this big angle if I hit it over there. If I end up getting it into the middle, then I'm gonna be set to be able to transition forward. Now let's say on this side, I pop up the ball directly out in front of me. All that I'm simply doing is taking a big step back. My partner is gonna hover over the middle. It all comes down to where the ball is. If the ball is on this side of the court, where I pop up the ball on this side of the court, I'm covering the line, my partner's covering the middle. And then as we get back into the court, I'm now covering the middle. My partner is now covering this big, huge, wide angle out there. I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you guys want to learn more about doubles strategy, I just barely uploaded this video right here, and I go into depth about how you can win more points and hit more winners. So go ahead and click that and check it out, and be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.